Today we'll talk about Tom Cruise living the same day over and over again in Edge of Tomorrow.
And Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill go to college in 22 Jump Street.
And let's train more dragons in How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Hey everyone, welcome to Critical Mass. I'm Kent Dunn from Showtime Showdown.
And Rich Bonaducci with TheRealPlace.com.
So it's been a while.
It has.
But we're here. We need to do a little, wrap up of a movie last week and this week.
Yeah.
But we're going to get there. I mean, now it's like the height of summer.
It's true.
And I'd say some of the best movies are coming out, well, last month. And
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for joining us. So we are coming to you live from Art House Cinema 502 on historic 25th Street in Ogden, Utah.
Yeah, check them out. They do all sorts of indie stuff. We're not going to be talking about any of it today.
No, just big ones. Old summer.
Yeah, it's summertime. But if we can, we'll definitely include indies in the upcoming shows. But check them out online as well as indieogden.com. I believe they have a Facebook page too, and so do we.
Yes, we do, so go check it out. You know, we're going to be talking about the new ones, How to Train Your Dragon 2 and 22 Jump Street. So, two big sequels. But first, we need to talk about an original movie. Well, based off of a book, but it stars Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. Basically, Tom Cruise has to relive the same day again and again. It's the last and, the most important day of this battle with the aliens.
I believe it was called All You Need Is Kill.
Which I loved that title.
Yeah, which a better title probably, and maybe that is part of the problem why this movie didn't do so well in the box office. We're doing this late enough that we can actually know how the box office did.
We can judge it now.
And the box office didn't do that well, and maybe it's because they changed the name and had a couple of marketing issues.
Yep.
But let's give you a scene from Edge of Tomorrow.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to save you. We're getting slaughtered. You need to get us off this beach. We have to go. This dropship is about to explode. We have to go now. Wait. Come on! Come on! Come on! The ship is going to explode! What are you doing?
Find me when you wake up.
What?
Come find me when you wake up.
On your feet, maggots!
Okay, so there we had Edge of Tomorrow. I think you're right with saying there were some marketing issues. People saw this as another Oblivion, which is Tom Cruise's movie from last year, which did okay, but it's an April movie.
Right.
This is a movie right in the heat of June against some major movies, and it was beat out by Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah, that's true.
Fault in Our Stars had a definite audience. It was going for the girly crowd, the crowd that wanted to cry. Edge of Tomorrow was just going for all action movie fans. And with the title as bland as that, it didn't work. Internationally, yes.
Yeah, internationally, box office is doing pretty well. Better than here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Rich, what did you think?
Well, I do think you're right. I think people saw that and went, oh, is that Oblivion Part 2? It even had a similar color scheme if you look at some of the pictures of Cruise on the battlefield and all that. And maybe because Oblivion didn't do that well, people went, another one of those. It didn't go. It didn't talk very much about the plot. And I think they knew that because later on they started having like a second trailer going, oh, but he has to relive the same day and all that. And I think some people might have went, oh, Groundhog Day, sci-fi Groundhog Day. And just stop.
And I think people are, done with that. Or at least they think that's a tired concept. But if you do it right, it's actually a brilliant concept.
And I think they did it right.
They did it right.
Yeah. Again, we're talking about a movie that didn't do that well at the box office, but tough. The box office is wrong. Folks, if you have a chance to go see a movie, especially one that is, I think, a fun sci-fi action flick, with a heart there even, go check out the Edge of Tomorrow. It was done really well. it was funnier than I expected it to be.
It was hilarious.
Yeah,
which is bizarre.
During the last act, I guess we can say,
yeah.
it does get into the meat of that last big action piece.
Yeah.
And it
kind of leaves it all behind the original premise.
Well, it moves on to, it gets past that Groundhog Day kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it also leaves a little bit of the humor behind, obviously, because now they're in the thick of it and all that. But it's okay, because by that time, I was all in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was pretty tense. I was wondering what was going to happen. In fact, I think the best part about it was, for a while you know that he's reliving this day. His day resets every time he dies. And he starts over at the same point. And he changes things every now and again because he remembers what he did his last life. So after a certain period of time, you know what's coming. But then he gets past that point. He's at the edge of tomorrow, I guess. And at that point, you don't know what's coming. You don't know if he's going to make it, and if he dies at that point, he's done. He's not coming back. That kind of thing.
But what's also great is it's unpredictable, because he may make a certain decision to change, the course of the day, and he may die immediately. For example, rolling under a truck. And that's it's funny because the movie is hilarious because of how many times Tom Cruise dies and how he dies.
And you wouldn't think, that the lead, the protagonist dying is something you can deal with in a funny way, but it is.
And it's great for Tom Cruise because he has his critics, for sure. But the guy knows how to pick a role, and he's almost humbling himself by saying, I'm going to get burned alive and you're going to see me melt. And you're going to enjoy every second.
Because back in the day, he was going to be Edward Scissorhands.
Was he?
Yes.
Okay.
But he wanted to be fixed up and made nice by the end of the movie. And they went, no. And picked someone who didn't care.
Okay.
But you're right, in this movie, he's not the pretty boy all the time. The hero saving the day.
In fact, he's a coward.
He's a coward. He plays it really well, too.
He does.
He's like, you hate him. And what's great is, during his many lives, you see his personality change.
Yeah.
And he becomes more and more confident because, frankly, he knows what's going to happen.
Yes.
But at the end of the movie, he's just as scared about what's going to happen as the rest of us kind of thing. Although I do think they left it really open. You think that he doesn't know. Most of the time he admits to his fellow soldier Emily, played by Emily Blunt, that, hey, we've been here 3 times. We've been here 100 times and go left or whatever. At one point he's like, we've never come this far.
Yeah.
So you think, the stakes are really high because you don't know what's happening. But at the same time, there are a couple of points I was like, is he pulling one over on her?
I thought the same thing.
Yeah. Has he been there before? Because a couple of points she says, you didn't wear your seatbelt, you didn't do this or that, and he's like, he has this look on his face like, it'll be okay.
The whole movie messes with you because you don't know if it's from his perspective or the alien's perspective, because they're the ones that control time. If one of their alpha aliens is killed, they just reset the whole day and no one is the wiser.
Right.
So the whole thing could just be a trick. So and then it just leaves it a little open-ended.
And it could be a trick of the movie itself. As he tells Emily Blunt, we've been here. That's how you find out we've been here. But what if he isn't telling her the truth?
Yeah.
Are we along for the ride now too, or have we been here before?
And that's just the thing. It's a ride. And I mean, every summer is full of action movies, but usually they're like maybe 30 to 40 minutes of action, a lot of talking. This movie is action throughout.
Yeah, and it's fun stuff.
And it's really fun.
And I won't give away any of the ending or anything, but we did talk about how they left out a little bit of comedy near the end.
Yeah.
But I do think it ends well.
Yeah.
And almost like in a comedic Up in a strange way. It's a bit of a
really satisfying movie.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was my second favorite movie of the summer after X-Men.
Well. We can talk about that. We'll talk about that sometime.
Well, yeah, because I loved X-Men.
We'll redo that one. But so what'd you give it?
I gave it an A-.
Yeah, so did I.
Really?
Just right there.
Okay.
I mean, the only reason why I didn't give it a flat out A is because of everything else around it. In a way, kind of the name and the marketing and the this and the that almost took away from the experience a little bit. And there's a bit of a problem with time travel movies anyway.
They need to under-explain.
Yes, and they do under-explain the ending a little bit.
A lot.
Which I think was smart.
Yeah. It does a source code.
Right.
Sort of, yeah. So, I mean, it needed to, but then they were kind of like, we just got to end this.
Yeah.
It was under 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so it felt very tight. I wish it was longer.
Yeah, I was fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, time travel movies are a bit of an issue, and they did leave it. They didn't explain it too much, and that's why it pulled it back just a little bit for me.
Yeah.
But overall, this is a movie to see, especially
Honestly.
a big, fun popcorn flick. Go out with a bunch of guys, a bunch of people just want to have a good time. It's one of the movies you watch and it sucks you in because you want to.
I'll pay to see this movie. I know that's a lot coming from me.
I'll probably go see it again with some friends and I'll pay too.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go. A- from both Kent and myself.
Nice.
Edge of Tomorrow. Well, coming up in our next segment, we'll talk about the next two movies that are basically opening the summer. 22 Jump Street, both sequels, and How to Train Your Dragon 2.